Palantir. Okay, listen, it just keeps getting juicier and juicier in Palantir land. Listen, there's not a whole lot more I can say than you just need to start buying Palantir. Stop worrying about if it's $70, if it's $80, if it's $100. At this point, Palantir is going to $100 because A of all, it's about to have a whole lot more money pumped into it. We're going to talk about why that is. Second of all, the company, the next quarterlies that are released on it are going to be bigger probably than what we just saw, and they just had record high quarterlies. Friends, I hope you are well. It is Friday. The market is done. It's been a good week in the market. It's been a good week with a lot of stocks, and the market is continuing to run high here, even with inflation coming in. That just was awful, and the market is relentless right now. I mean, it's just relentless. That's the word I'm trying to say, relentless. And Palantir especially is right in that fold right now. So the news why Palantir broke into almost $66 today. Did it go? No, it just didn't make 66. But Palantir, as of now, is going on the NASDAQ as well. So what does that mean? Well, that means now that is going on the NASDAQ here, in which I've got that written down right there on November 26th, which is like, a week and some days here. Next week, essentially. Palantir's about to have more money pumped into it. So not only do we have Palantir, who's just, becoming probably one of the most popular AI companies at this point, bringing in massive revenue. The revenue went from the beginning of this year, which last year was great too, but this year, went from really good revenue to just now astronomical deals coming in. We got Trump coming into the White House, and what do we know from Trump? Trump loves to spend money on defense. His last time he was in office, he went into debt spending on defense. Okay, that's where a lot of his debt came from. But why is that good for you as an investor? Well, Palantir already has contracts with our military, so more than likely those contracts could continue to really pump up here with Trump in office. Not to mention Elon and one of his buddies, real good close friends with Palantir. So let's just think here. Okay, I'm in the same boat with you. A lot of us are going $65 a share. Do you think it's over? Is it going to sell off? Listen, we were talking about Palantir selling off at $50. We were talking about it selling off at $45. It's not gonna stop, okay? And when this happens a week from now, there's probably no doubt that Palantir is probably going to go to $70 to $75. So we're about to see probably a $10 increase, a huge increase in their stock. The market cap of what they're holding right now. And not to mention, we're going to have quarterlies here again soon, months, of course, this month's away, but, soon enough, there will be the other quarterlies to round out the year. And on top of that, there still could be a major deal announced here with Palantir. We still know that Alex Karp was saying there's a lot of things to come here with Palantir. It just keeps getting juicier, and sometimes it's just a really good situation. Okay, it's just a really good situation. Not to mention Nvidia's got their quarterlies, all that stuff coming out, Blackwell chip, blah blah blah. But a lot of people are starting to say that we believe Palantir is going to be the new Nvidia here within a year. So I don't think that's crazy to say at all. I don't really think that's crazy to say, because we're obviously, once Trump comes into office here, the market's going to really step on the gas here from what we've already seen. We've already seen the telltale signs of the market running here, and the market is already essentially priced in Trump into the market here. But at this point, it's not stopping. The crypto market's not stopping. The stock market's not stopping. Everything is getting more expensive. The market right now, if this was just a regular market, like there's no election, nothing like that, we should be in a crash right now. We should be in a major crash right now in the market. Because why? Job reports, terrible. Inflation going back up. Just economical disaster everywhere we look. So right now, the market's going, I don't care about any of that. Why? Because, we've got a new president coming in. January is going to be hot in this market. AI stocks right now are once again dragging the market behind it. And, AI stocks are leading the way right now in our markets. And that's why, Palantir, from S&P 500, now NASDAQ, it's going right into this chamber of, is gonna be like a top 20, top 10 stocks in our market here sooner than later. There's no ceiling right now for where Palantir is going, and that's what you need to realize. That's why everyone's saying that Palantir is going to go to $500. Is it going to go to 100? Of course it's going to go to 100. The fact is, when I made a video, was it this week or last week, when I said Palantir is going to $100? I meant that. I wasn't just saying that just to pump up the stock. I mean that, like, it's coming. If you're in it, you see that, and you know what's going to happen here. All the proof's there. It's all there. The deals, everything that's happened here with Palantir. Every time Palantir gets a deal, it's not a deal for like, $500,000, $100,000. We don't even hear about those deals. Those deals happen with them, but the deals that we're hearing about, like a lot of them, they're $1 billion, $500 million. They're huge, huge deals, which this is what is bringing in massive revenue for the company right now. So let's imagine here these next quarterlies that come out with Palantir next year, to round out the year of 2024. The last quarterlies we just dealt with, we saw a 30% increase. Okay. Now, I don't think it'd be too crazy to say here, because we just watched Nvidia do this. We watched a few AI stocks. The AI stocks have been doing this all year, and Palantir is no different at this point. Imagine Palantir, the next quarterlies they release, they come out 40 to 45% better. Okay. And at that point, we're well into a $100 stock before we even know what the quarterlies are. That's going to happen here. Palantir is getting very, very popular, which is a huge problem if you're not in it or you're trying to buy more shares right now, because it's going to get a lot more expensive. So what does that mean? That means by the time these next quarterlies come out here, Palantir could be well into $100. We could be looking at 105, 110. Who knows even more? Look at what we just went through with Nvidia this year. Okay, look at what we just went through. How many people January of this year were not thinking that we were going to see what quarterlies we do with Nvidia, that we were going to have a stock split with Nvidia in the middle of the year? And then after that stock split, they still beat the quarterlies from the previous quarterlies that drove them into a stock split. And now the new quarterlies that they're about to come out with are probably going to beat or just be right at what the last quarterlies were, which were more than what some countries have in the world just for a quarterly. Okay? So, obviously, Palantir and Nvidia are, light years away right now. I don't want to say light years, but they're far away from each other with what they're bringing in on a yearly basis, okay? Two different animals we're talking about here. But Palantir is very much on its way into a realm of going into a $100 stock, maybe this time next year. If this continues like this, if this just continues, this is what's going to drive Palantir into a $200 to a $250 stock by this time next year. Look at what we've accomplished. At this rate, we're essentially getting around a $6 to $10 markup here with every 30 to 40 days on Palantir. Okay, I mean that's essentially what we're dealing with. I mean, even just going back to the summer where we were sitting at $25. We're at $65 now. We're probably going to be at $70 here by next week, because once we see the NASDAQ situation take place here, Palantir is going to have a lot more money driven into it, and that's going to eat up shares. That's going to drive up the price. So friends, listen, I said this before, and I really do mean this, because I know what it's like to be the little guy in the market, okay? If this brings anyone encouragement, if this brings anyone satisfaction, I hope it does. Listen, if you're looking at Palantir and you're going like, I mean, I can't really afford like $65 a share. I get it, dude. I get it. If you have one share of Palantir, consider that a win, okay? Just be in it right now. That's what you want to do. You just want to be a part of what's going on, okay? What I did years ago when I wanted to get in the market, I had no money. What I would do is, instead of, when I'm on my lunch break, when guys are on their lunch break, they go to the gas station, they buy sodas, hot dogs, and they spend massive amounts of money. I would take my lunch, and then that day, I would take $5, I would take $10, and I would put it in a stock, or I would save it away, okay? But of course, make sure my bills are paid, my family's fed. But this, right, if you do simple stuff like this, I tell this to guys all the time, simple things like that, $5, $10, $20 here, there, you start to build up a position. Imagine if you start building up a $5, $10 position in Palantir this week. And imagine where you could be if you do that every week or two. Imagine, where you could be a year from now. You might have a few shares of Palantir. Okay. With that said, if Palantir sells off here, don't consider that. Don't go like, man, Palantir just sold off. I think most of us are hoping Palantir sells off at this point, okay? I think the 40s are long gone at this point. It would take something dramatic for it to go back to the 40s, but guess what? You know what's going to happen if Palantir were to ever see the 40s again, which I highly doubt? It would be bought up so fast, because it's not the point of the stock selling off at this point. If Palantir goes back to even 55, it doesn't mean it's a bad company. It just means it had a sell-off. That's the general nature of stocks. They have a sell-off day. Maybe there's some bad news. Maybe the market's having a bad day. Maybe people are just taking some profit. Maybe they're bored with it. We're obviously not seeing that right now. But listen, just because a stock goes down, it doesn't mean it's a bad stock. They flow up and down, up and down. But what we're seeing right now, this is not normal. Okay? You have Alex Karp said this months ago. He said, listen, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, he said, we have no competition. We are the only one out there doing what we do at the best at it. We have no ceiling. There's things coming out that we can't tell you about right now. And we're going to do huge numbers. We're starting to see a lot of that take place right now, okay? So when you have a CEO who says that and promises that, and you start to see the breadcrumbs and you can start picking them up and tasting them, that's what we're in right now. That is what we're in. There's many times in the market where the grass is greener on the other side, and that's what we're seeing right now. It's very green, and it's a lot more to go. Friends, I want to keep it short and sweet. Listen, I wish all of you the best of luck. I'm going to talk more over the weekend, obviously. But listen, Palantir is going to get more expensive here, okay? With this situation happening, it's just going to get more expensive. I have no doubt in my mind that we're getting into a place where we're going to see large firms start to step in here and start to buy a Palantir, just as we saw with NVIDIA over the year, last year and this year, where firms were like, okay, this company's bringing in massive revenue. We saw huge investment firms or, just investors, individuals, step in and go, I'm buying X amount of, NVIDIA, or I think we're going to see that here with Palantir. That's going to be another, thing that just really drives up the price here. That's another element of it. Friends, take care. I wish you well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.